And welcome, Flip Clock fans. It's Mackie here, and I'm using my own voice. I'm the owner of this channel, and I've been doing this for about 7 some years, getting into flip clocks. And I started using this, what people call an AI voice. All it is text-to-speech voice. I did it on a couple of my short videos, and boy, I got my chops busted. I'm not sure why people would rather listen to me than a artificial voice. Evidently, there's a lot of people that don't like those kind of voices.
Evidently, there are a lot of people who don't have very good taste in voices.
There's just some people who don't like it, and they can tell they're artificial. Perhaps in future, we'll have less ability to tell if something's artificial or not. But as it is, we'll try to use my own voice. We want to make some people happy. Anyway, what have I got going on today? Well, I had promised myself and some of you that I wasn't going to buy any more clocks. I have plenty of clocks, but I just can't get over this one situation. This mechanism here I recently got. It is a new in-box mechanism for a Panasonic RC-1280. It's just pristine. Now, what is it about a Panasonic RC-1280? Well, they're horrible clocks. They always come with, almost always come with the motor making a noise. And I have bought, and I hate to tell you, some of these were back when clocks weren't ridiculously priced. But I have bought, I think, 3 of those, looking for a clock, trying to get a clock together that looked good. Some of them had the stripe, the chrome stripe off. I wanted to get a good balance there and get a motor that wasn't making noise. The reason was, this is a clock I was really big into. Let's go ahead and start opening it up while we're talking here. I was really big into movie clocks. So I have many movie clocks. It all started for me with the Groundhog Day clock, and then Back to the Future clock, and then finding out all the clocks that were in movies. Well, this clock was in the horrible movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Horrible movie. I remember the first time I saw it. I was in college, and they were playing it, and I just thought I had drank too much because I couldn't get it. Well, there's nothing to get. It's really crazy. So I was obsessed with getting a clock from that movie that worked. Let's get into this. Goodness gracious. Oh. All right. Now, you got to appreciate good packaging. Oh, boy. All right. So anyway, I wanted to get one of those clocks that worked. But what I found out, now while I open this, we'll look at some of the footage I have from previously. But what I found out was these motors in these clocks are crap. They're in a little can. They're sealed. They're not intended to be fixed. A lot of people don't like that when I say that, and they're telling me there's 3D printing and all this, and I just don't buy it. These things are not going to be fixable. They are to a degree. They're never going to be the same. Oh, boy, this person did a good job. Let's see. Anyway, so I got into that can, and oh my goodness, they used this red stuff. I thought it was like an enamel or something like that, and I used everything I could think of to melt that, to scrape it off, to get down in there, to open up this can and find out what was going on. Well, once I did open it up, I found out that, and it took forever because that red stuff had seeped down into the motor. It's a wonder it didn't gunk it up. And I had to pry it open and get it open. Well, get it open and find out that the noise sounded like it was coming from the rotating discs here. These are the discs that rotate in the electromagnetic field and make the internal spin. And it seems like they were transmitting the noise, but the noise was coming from a little bitty gear meshing with another gear. And one of those gears was a little bit whacked out, and it just was making continuous noise. Now, some people, in some motors that look like this, there's some Telecron motors, other kind of motors like this, you can drill a hole, get some oil down there. I soaked it with oil. I mean, it's not an oil issue, so don't waste your time. So it's just a screwed up little motor. Once I got a hold of this mechanism, I thought, well, shoot, finally we're going to have a working clock. Now, how long will this last? Who knows? I mean, it could last 20 years of continuous use. I don't know. Maybe we'll plug it in and get this all together and find out. So my hope is to get this into a working condition. Now, this is the first time I've seen it. And when I look at clocks like this, I'm looking for several issues, and I'm glad so far so good. I don't like that little dent there. I do have, like I said, I've got parts. I could replace that probably with a better looking one. The main thing is, for me, is the stripe. So the stripe's fairly good compared to some. A lot of this gets worn off here. Missing a knob, got plenty of those. The outside case is a little rough looking, but not bad. I actually have another one of those that I've actually whitened and cleaned up. So the thing is, when they made this clock, they melted this into the back of that. Here. Yes, you can burr that down and try to get that out. Now you're piecing things back together. So I was hoping to get a decent one of these. Now I can polish that up a little bit and clean it from the backside. Get a decent one of these because these are integral. Decent one of these. I'm going to hate to have to replace that, but I don't like that dent. Fix this. And then put this sucker in there so that we have a nice working RC-1280. A Attack of the Killer Tomatoes clock. So that's my plan. As it's warmed up a little bit, it's making the noise. You may not be able to hear it from here, but when I get into the clock, let's see. Oh yeah, sounds like some squirrels are in there doing dishes or something. It's doing it. You could survive with this, but we're going to get in there. Now, did any of you notice our little stowaway in here?
I noticed it, and it's disgusting.
I hate to say it. I've seen spiders. I hope that's a spider, but it looks like a cockroach. That sucks. If my wife knew that I was bringing something like this in, she would blow a gasket. But I'm hoping that, but probably, and usually what I find is these things have been sitting somewhere for ages. Anything that's in there is long gone, dead. That one definitely is. So that's what you get when you get vintage flip clocks. Often, if you have someone who hasn't messed with them, and clearly no one's tried to mess with this, it's definitely making a sound. And it's definitely full of bugs. I hate to say this, but it looks like I don't know. It looks to me like a bed bug, a dried up old bed bug. It's terrible. I've never really seen a bed bug, and maybe that's just a cockroach. It's disgusting. But I still, what I have to do, and you can see here, if you look, right down in there, they melted the plastic tabs to secure that in here with some kind of hot iron. So that can be gotten out, but it's going to be difficult. So we're going to remove all this stuff out of here and try to clean this out, and then clean all this evidence out of here before I get my chops busted. All right, well, so we'll get all this out and see where we're at.
You need your chops busted.
All right, here we are at another stage, and we've got a real collection of bugs going on here. And I don't know if any of you are, what is that called, an epidemiologist? Epidemiologist?
It's called an entomologist, dummy.
Bug expert. You can tell us what those are. Now this one here, and we talked about how they burned that in there. They did. And I want to just leave it be. You can see they even burned this little wire in here. That's the indicator for the tuning. I wanted just to leave it alone. I'm going to try to jet some water down in here and clean that out. I may not be able to. I'm hoping I can. If I can't, I'm going to burr that out with my Dremel and go from there. I don't want to do that. But now, as far as the back side, a lot of these electronics put off, I don't know what else to call it, like a smoke. It's like a black kind of a soot. And the best thing to get that off is Windex or a light ammonia solution. More is not better on the ammonia. And you want to keep that Windex rinsed off as quickly as possible, because I know from experience that this chrome paint will come off with ammonia. But it is the thing that can clean back behind there. And I'll just clean real fast and then try to rinse it out. I'm really hopeful I can get that clean without taking that off. So that's where I'm at on that. All right, then, before we close up, just a couple things I wanted to look at. If you see here, this is a very simple circuit right here to control this light. The light is always on for the digits here, but then when you push this button, all it's doing is bypassing that resistor, and so you'll get a brighter light. That would be if, I guess, at night You wanted to push it and felt like you wanted to see it better. Don't know that many people used that function. We've got the clock in just fine. And the crazy thing is, if you listen very closely, you can hear just a little sound coming from here. So again, over the years, it's probably going to get worse and worse. The alarm is a simple buzzer off of this coil situation here. See if I can get it sounding. So that's it. We're going to get it back together and then go from there. And so finally, here you see it in all its glory. The Panasonic RC-1280, as good as it's going to get. Am I glad I did it?
I'm not glad you did it. This was a long video to sit through. About as bad as Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
In any event, here it is. Thanks for taking the time.
Don't worry, folks. You'll hear my voice on plenty of other videos out there. Moo ha 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 ha. Moo ha 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 laugh.